Might have bit off more than I can chew here. What is up everyone? It is me with ADHD and I have a problem. Apparently, I can't help but overcommitting to every single ambitious thing that comes my way, regardless of how much it burns me out or how unrealistic it is. Now, I feel like I've always been like this. My personality is like the go hard or go home, all or nothing type. And there are definitely ADHD reasons behind this. And to provide context to this, I want to talk about last year and my current goals for this year. I know I'm really late with this, by the way. This video I actually planned to have in early January, but you know how ADHD goes. I ended up procrastinating on this video. Now we're on the last day of the month and I'm getting it out now. So, Now, I mentioned in the last video that a few of us from my work did the Spartan trifecta last year. That's 3 races, a 5K, a 10K, with increasing amounts of obstacles, culminating in a 20K race, which we did at Big Bear, which is actually considered one of the hardest courses to do that. And it definitely was. It was rough, and I am not exaggerating, but we did it. All but one of the guys who bought a ticket, but he couldn't make it because of travel issues and stuff. Anyway, we get to the end of 2024 and we hear about another Spartan race. This one is the Ultra. It's like a 50K with 50 obstacles. And one of my friends mentions that we should do it. So, of course, without any hesitation at all, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I actually already had my heart set on doing something different next year, a half Ironman. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a triathlon, but it's later on in the year. So I'm like, yeah, if you do that with me, then I'll do the Ultra with you. Done deal, right? So then a few weeks later, we hear about someone in our company doing the LA Marathon. So we're like, oh, that sounds fun. Count us into that, right? Why not? Then the guy who missed the Big Bear race last year wants to do it this year because he's already got a ticket. So of course he needs people to go with, right? So we're obviously in. Oh, and for good measure, everybody in the company started January with 75 hard. That's 75 days of drinking a gallon of water, 2 45-minute workouts, one of which needs to be outside, reading 10 pages of self-improvement books, taking progress pictures every morning, and sticking to a diet for that whole time. If one of those things gets missed, then you have to start the whole thing all over again. And honest to God, at this point, I still didn't see this as overcommitting at all for some reason. Even when we found out that the LA Marathon is less than 3 weeks before the Ultra. It was only when it was pointed out to me by my wife that like maybe I might be biting off too much, that I actually took a step back and started to take stock of the things that I've committed to. And this is so normal for me, right? I don't know if it's normal for you guys, but it's so normal for me. There is like a thing with ADHD which I've spoken about in the past before. It's called time blindness, right? And this definitely plays a role here. See, time blindness is like the inability to properly interpret how much time you have. That's why ADHDers are usually late for things. They think that they have more time than they actually do. It's not that we can't tell time, it's just we can't really get a grip of how long time actually is, if that makes sense. I often find myself at work giving time frames for projects that just aren't realistic, because in my brain, everything takes either 10 minutes or just an hour. And that's what I'm talking about. There's no concept of how long things actually take to get done. It's really frustrating, but also really disheartening at the same time. So in my brain, when the Ultra is less than 3 weeks, 2.5, I think, somewhere around that, I think that that's tons of time. It's nothing to worry about, apparently. Another thing that drives this is impulsivity, right? The short-term boost of dopamine that's gained from agreeing to do something for fun or a challenge is too good to pass up. My poor dopamine-starved brain just can't help itself. There's so many things in life that can be attributed to impulsivity, and this is like top of the list for me. It's definitely one of them right now. I actually think that it's really difficult to not overcommit with ADHD because a lot of things are going against you. My day-to-day is like full of overcommitments because there's just something in my brain that tells me I can do it all, right? When the reality is I rarely make it past the first few things on my list, which in the end is really more damaging than anything else because it makes you feel like you aren't good enough, like you haven't done enough, like you're a bit of a failure, and that's like far from the truth. The truth is, you've probably done the same amount, if not more, than most people will do with their day. So anyways, I'm like 31 days now into the 75 hard. It's going pretty well. It's got off to a rocky start, I'm not gonna lie. Everything hurt. Come on.
Pushing forward. One more revolving lunge.
I might have bitten off more than I can chew here. Ooh. I needed to pee every 5 minutes. A gallon is a lot of water, guys, to drink. It is insane how much it is. What I found myself doing at the beginning is like not being able to make it through and then having to pound it later on in the day because I kept forgetting that I need to drink water. And yeah, like that was like a lot of bad sleep nights because I was getting up every 5 minutes to go pee. Crazy. But I'm used to it now. I've got a lot better with the routine with that. So I got like another 45 days left. I feel pretty confident that I can finish it. I'm at this point now where the hyperfocus has kicked in on it. So like, I'm super committed to it. You know, one really positive part about doing this 75 hard is the reading element of it. I never would have read you know, motivational or non-fiction book without doing this, but an even bigger plus to it is that this book, The Land of Lost Things, amazing book, by the way. The original, sorry, not the original, the prequel to this, The Book of Lost Things, is also amazing, one of my favorite books ever. But since I've been reading that book, it's kind of got the, you know, the bug of reading again going. So now I've started to read this, which is awesome. So I think that's a huge plus. That also leads all the way up to the marathon. The 75-day hard has forced me to like keep constantly working out every day, which has forced me to get in better shape for the marathon and has forced me to keep my training up. So that's really great. So if I do survive it, then I think I'm probably gonna do a video on setting some boundaries for yourself and overcommitment. I think that's gonna be a good topic. But anyway, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.